Hey everyone, before getting into this video, I do just want to put a quick disclaimer. I forgot to plug in my microphone before recording this video, so the audio you will be hearing is from my computer mic. It doesn't sound great, but it also doesn't sound awful. I am terribly, terribly sorry. I will make sure that this does not happen again, but it is still a pretty decent video anyway. Just thought I'd come on here and say that real quick. But please do enjoy the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joshua Arce. Joshua Reviews Movies and More, where everything on this channel I cover is Marvel and DC. I also do a movie review here and there. I have not been able to go to the movie theaters in a hot minute, but when I do, I will be eventually reviewing Toy Story Disclosure Day. What else is out right now? I should probably know this. Disclosure Day, Toy Story 5, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Supergirl, etc. All of that will eventually be coming soon. But as of right now, we just have a DC update, and it's a really casual one. I'm going to try and make it not as long as my previous ones. But if you have not subscribed and have left a like on the video, I please encourage you to do so. Please share it with friends and family. If they are into this type of stuff, that'd be great if you guys were to share it. In this video, we are talking all things from Supergirl, Creature Commando Season 2, San Diego Comic-Con and DC Studios not having a presence, and etc. And we're also going to be talking about, at the end of this video, the possibility of James Gunn not being at DC Studios possibly by the end of this year or next year. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. Please subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so I'm going to talk about Supergirl first. I know that was mainly the main topic of my last video, but a lot has happened since then because the amount of crap that continues to be piled on this movie is absolutely insane. But Supergirl has finally crossed $100 million worldwide. The film fell 80%. It fell 80% in its second weekend. The second steepest drop ever for a DC movie, only behind Joker, Folie à Deux. And that is really, really bad, only at 81%. That is absolutely terrible. And a lot of the general audience may say, well, $100 million, that's great. When you put costs into making a movie, when you put the marketing budget into making a movie, that is absolutely insane. This film only had a budget of around, I think it was I don't want to give a rough estimate, but it was in the millions for sure. It wasn't like an obsession. But it's still not doing great, and it's not going so good for this movie. And to be honest with you, I don't know how Paramount is going to come in and react to this. I really don't. Like I said in my last video, I don't know how Paramount is going to react to the failing of DC Studios so far. I really don't. Superman, underperformed. Supergirl is one of the worst flops in superhero history. I just don't know if Paramount's going to be coming in and saying, yeah, no, let's continue with this. Especially if they weren't able to continue with something as great as Transformers 1, because that didn't do as well financially as they thought. So we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how this DC universe goes, and I'm going to talk about it a little more towards the end of this video, but let's go ahead and get into the other stuff that I have prepared for this update. So continuing to talk about Supergirl, this film is reportedly targeting a July 28th digital release, which means it's basically going straight to streaming in just a few weeks. After its theatrical release. And whenever that happens to a movie, that's how you know it's done absolutely terrible critically and financially. From what I've heard about this movie, Supergirl is a movie that doesn't really deserve this type of crap that's being piled onto it, especially if you read the Hollywood Reporter article that just came out about all the behind the scenes chaos that went into it. James Gunn meddled in this production once again. I continue to say I do not think he needs that much input on DC movies. Every single movie that he's given notes on has flopped drastically. Same thing with Peter Safran. Peter Safran has been the producer of the last 4 bombs at DC, and it's crazy that David Zaslav looked at him and went, yeah, let's hire you as the CEO of DC Studios. That's not how it usually works, and it's absolutely appalling to me, but we're going to see which road this goes down. Hopefully it goes down the road that everybody wants it to go and it all works out, but we'll just have to wait and see. But Supergirl will be hitting digital release, Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Vudu, Google Play, etc. It will be hitting all those July 28th, and we're going to continue to see how this movie performs. And yeah, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, it's not looking so good. So the next thing I want to talk about is Creature Commando Season 2. This is a show that I have still not watched, mainly out of lack of interest. A lot of the things that the DCU's come out with has really not interested in me that much. And plus, one of the major reasons why I haven't watched those shows because when it first released, I did not have an HBO Max subscription, so I was unable to watch Creature Commandos. But the new showrunner, James Gunn, has left that position. Dean Lorey confirms that it is eyeing a 2027 release date. He says, quote, the artists and directors have been killing it. I'm very excited for you guys to see it at some point next year. Look, this is great for fans, for fans who are, obviously fond of the show. From what I've seen from the show, it looks like it's not my cup of tea, but that, it is what it is. And honestly, that's a lot of James Gunn stuff. The only thing I would consider rewatching, and I said this in my last video, was James Gunn's Suicide Squad. That's the only film that I would consider rewatching and giving a second chance. But everything else, not really. I don't like Peacemaker. Not interested in Creature Commandos. And as of right now, the DCU shows it's not really pulling me in, and clearly it's not pulling a lot of people in internationally because of how Supergirl is performing. And that's something that I want to talk about later in today's video for sure. So, continuing to talk about Creature Commandos season 2, it has expanded from 7 episodes to 10 episodes. And Laurie says that G.I. Robot will have a massive story this upcoming season, his favorite ever, and he adds that David Harbour is absolutely hilarious in it. So, there you have it. Season 2 is going to be going from 7 to 10 episodes, and this is something that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit. I think, just in regards to television in general, I think it's kind of really hindered the great stuff that we get out of TV. Netflix's Daredevil had about approximately 10 to 13 episodes each season. And especially, one of the best comic book series ever, one of the best seasons of television, Daredevil season 3. It really, really allowed itself to breathe with longer amount of episodes. Back in the day, like with CW's The Flash, we used to get 18 to 20 episodes a season. And I think we need to go back to that format because this 6 to 10 episode, the 6 to 8 episode thing doesn't really work for TV anymore. The only series that it's actually really worked for is something like Loki, which has benefited from it really, really well. And it's something that Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson were really able to sort of cultivate in that second season and really bring to life. And as of right now, they're doing a good job handling that. And Dario Scardapane is doing a great job sort of being the captain of that ship for Daredevil Born Again season 2. But I would love for season 3 to include more episodes, but we'll just see how it goes. But I think television can really benefit from having more episodes with every new show that is releasing. So I want to talk about the Batman Part 2. I know a lot of you were not expecting to hear Batman Part 2 news, but Barry Keoghan is officially set to return as the Joker in the Batman Part 2. A lot of people actually don't know this because it is just a deleted scene. Now, granted, it's one of the most iconic deleted scenes from a movie, but Barry Keoghan was cast as the Joker all the way back in 2022, whenever the Batman released. And Barry Keoghan was cast as the Joker, and he had a phenomenal performance in just that 5-minute scene with Robert Pattinson's Batman. And I'm very, very intrigued to see how Matt Reeves uses him in this sequel. We'll see how he introduces him fully to this universe and to this character of Batman, to this iteration of Batman. I'm very, very excited for the Batman Part 2. Everybody who's working on it seems to be really, really excited about it. Who've read the script. Colin Farrell said that it's an amazing script written by Matt Reeves. And Matt Reeves really, really likes to take his time with certain things. And this is one of those things. And right now and everybody else is really, really excited for it. So I can't wait to see how it goes and how Barry Keoghan fits into the full picture. So, continuing to talk about Supergirl a little bit, you can go to The Hollywood Reporter, and they have a huge article talking about the chaos that went on behind the scenes of this movie. James Gunn meddling with this movie once again, firing Gillespie's editor and hiring his Guardians of the Galaxy editor, choosing the disastrous needle drop at the end of that movie, which has been memed unbelievably. And it is said to be one of the worst needle drops ever in superhero history and just movie history in general, as people do. Look, I think if y'all want to go look for yourselves how much of a disaster this is, and we'll talk about it a little bit here in today's video a little bit. And we'll talk about a little bit what the article had to say. It's just absolutely insane. So, speaking of that article, The version of Supergirl that you saw in theaters is not the only version that is out there, and all of a sudden I'm flashed back to 2016 when Batman vs Superman initially released. Greg Gillespie and DC Studios each screened their own cut for test screenings. Gillespie's ran for 11 minutes longer with more creme, and DC Studios cut one and was the version that eventually released in theaters for audiences to see or not see, I guess. And it's just not going well for DC Studios. Release the Gillespie cut has already been trending all over social media. I think it's so funny ever since the Snyder cut that fans have just kind of said, F it, anything's possible now. And if Gillespie's cut were to be released, I think that'd be great. Granted, I don't know if 11 minutes is really worth it. Now, when it's a case like BVS and 30 minutes of additional footage was removed from that movie, I do think that is needed. And obviously, Zack Snyder's Justice League, that cut was definitely deserved. But we'll see how it goes. We'll genuinely see. I think the fact that James Gunn is not learning his lesson from the previous regime at Warner Brothers is insane, and it's a huge red flag. And it's something that he kind of lied about. This is something that's kind of been swirling around social media. This kind of tweet that he made a few years ago, basically talking about how the vision of the creatives and the directors will be first in front at DC Studios, and that's the only thing that they care about. And then we have James Gunn coming in here and absolutely destroying the behind the scenes of this movie and kind of meddling with everything. I just don't think it's needed. I don't think his input is needed on every single little thing. If Greg Gillespie doesn't want to use a needle drop and wants to use score for the final battle, let him do that. And that is what they were eventually going to do. But since the absolute chaos that went into finally hiring a composer for this movie, the process took so long because they went through 10,000 composers. Junkie XL was supposed to compose this movie. Now, somebody else who did the score did the movie. I'm forgetting their name off the top of my head. But they didn't really know what they were doing behind the scenes of this movie. I don't really know. Millie Alcock has kind of come out and said how the vibe on Man of Tomorrow is very different from Supergirl, and Millie Alcock knows to stay away from this movie. She knows now not to really comment on it that much now that everything's kind of come out about it, which I think is really, really funny. And we'll see if the DCU even survives past Man of Tomorrow. We're going to talk about that here at the end of this video, and it's pretty intriguing what's going on. So, speaking of things that nobody ever asked for, we have a Mr. Terrific series, which is currently in the works. Alan Heinberg is currently writing the pilot. He worked on The Sandman. Again, nobody really asked for this. The fact that we are not focusing on Batman, The Flash, Green Lantern. I mean, we're getting the Lantern series, but that's being dragged through the mud. Wonder Woman. The fact that we are not focusing on the Justice League is absolutely crazy to me. I saw a tweet the other day that said that we are currently living through the Phase 4 era of DC Studios, just 3 years in. And honestly, it makes perfectly, sense. It makes perfect sense. I do not understand why we're getting this, type of content this early on in the DCU. It's really, really weird to me. I don't think it's something that we should be focusing on. Mr. Terrific was a fantastic character in Superman, and I think he was really popular among audiences. But if you're going to do something with him, that should probably be more down the line, and I don't think he was that popular. But, apparently, according to DC Studios and James Gunn, obviously, because, it's his character in his movie, he was. So we're going to see how that pans out. This is just very, very intriguing what's going on at DC Studios at the moment. So we got a new Lanterns poster in regards to their San Diego Comic-Con panel, which they will be having at San Diego Comic-Con. I believe they'll be having it on either the 23rd or the 25th, which, is exciting for fans or at least some of the fans who are excited for Lanterns. But DC Studios entirely is not having a presence at San Diego Comic-Con. James Gunn will not be there. Peter Safran will not be there. They'll probably show up to talk about Lanterns, and then that's it. They are not having a full Hall H, panel like Marvel is, which will absolutely dominate once again this year. Marvel obviously coming back for Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day. They're going to be announcing some new projects that's already been confirmed at, San Diego Comic-Con. And regardless of what James Gunn has to say about it, this will hurt DC Studios in their image. This is the past few years now that they have not had a presence at San Diego Comic Con. They didn't have a presence last year, they didn't have a presence the year before, and they are continuing that tradition this year with not having a panel at all at Hall H. Very, very disappointing. And the fact that Man of Tomorrow is coming out next year and you have a really, really big opportunity to sell that to mass audiences, yeah, just it's not great. And I don't know what James Gunn is doing, but you know what? It is what it is. And it's unfortunate what DC is going through right now. But if that's how James Gunn wants to play it, he can face the consequences. So, speaking of facing consequences and making stupid decisions, DC Studios is reportedly prioritizing their Deathstroke and Bane movie, although no director or cast has been attached yet to the film. The fact that we have not had a mention of Batman in this DC universe, but we are prioritizing this, should be a major red flag to every single DC fan out there. A Deathstroke and Bane movie, sure, it sounds cool. But where's Batman? We haven't even gotten a hint of him in this DC universe. Tom Brittany did just come out and sort of deny the rumors that he's going to be the DCU's Batman. He could be pulling an Andrew Garfield, obviously, but we'll see how it goes. I highly doubt Batman will be appearing in Man of Tomorrow. They might do that as a last-minute save for the DCU, trying to, get Paramount to sort of stay on board with what they're doing and their vision, being like, well, just wait. Because Batman is DC's version of Spider-Man. It's their most popular character, and so obviously everybody's really, really excited for the Batman Part 2 releasing next year. But as for Brave and the Bold and Andy Muschietti and Christina Hudson being attached to write that movie, it's just not looking good. And so we'll see what happens with the Deathstroke Bane movie. But I know nobody asked for this. I certainly didn't ask for it, and I just don't really know what's going on in these executive producers' heads over there at DC Studios, but we'll see how it all pans out. So, at an AC Animation Festival, we got 3 new series announced for DC Studios. We got the Absolute Batman animated series, which I have not read any of Absolute Batman yet. I need to pick up some comics. There is a local comic store, back home in the States where I live. So I will probably be stopping by there when I get back home, probably trying to pick up some Absolute Batman. We'll see, because I am wanting to get on that hype train because everything that I've heard about it seems to be absolutely amazing. And I'm very, very glad for fans of Absolute Batman that they're getting an animated series. I think that is absolutely amazing and unbelievably cool. We're getting an animated series, an anime series about the Joker, titled Joker Laugh Riot, which seems to be very, very intriguing. We'll see how that goes. And then we're getting a crypto animated series, which just seems like so much fun. And it seems like this dog seems to have become the plot device in every single DC Studios related thing. Plot device in Superman, plot device in Supergirl, now getting his own animated series. DC Studios is just cooking right now with every single project that they have going on. That was purely satire, by the way. I do not mean that. But I mean, it's cute, it's fun. It'll be things that kids are interested in, so I'm happy. But we'll just see how it goes. We'll see how the DCU goes. Again, I'm really not trying to be a negative Nancy in this video. It's just with the way things are going right now at DC Studios, there's not really too much to be positive about. But I'm trying to find a light in something. So we'll see. All right. So talking about little to no positivity. Look, as of right now, ever since Supergirl released, Man of Steel's streaming numbers have absolutely bumped up like crazy. Cosmic Book News has reported on this. Collider's reported on this. And I think if I'm Paramount and I'm coming into DC, I'm looking at what is making me the most revenue. And I'm going, Zack Snyder's movies made us plenty of money. And they're going to be like, maybe we should bring him back for a movie or two. And honestly, I don't think it would be a bad idea. I've seen all over the internet recently the most absolute Zack Snyder haters even saying, if it means James Gunn is out, I would bring back Zack Snyder. Literally, I've seen that clip. I have seen people talking about it all over Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, etc. People really want this man to come back for whatever reason. I'm a big, big fan of those movies. I really do love those movies. And it seems as if everyone's now just like, you know what? Screw it. At least that was something interesting. What DC Studios right now is doing with the DCU is not. I would very, very much like to see Superman versus Darkseid than Superman, and Crypto. So, look, we'll see how it all pans out. I am just really, really glad that these movies are finally getting the love that they finally deserve. Again, I have huge admiration for those movies. I have huge admiration for Zack Snyder for what he did with those movies and just his movies in general. I think he's a great filmmaker. A lot of people disagree, which they can have their own opinions about. That's my opinion about it. Um, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if Paramount takes a look at that. We'll see. I know as of right now, Zach is currently developing his new film Brawlers at Paramount, so it could very well be the case. But we'll just have to wait and see. I know some people want Zach to come back. I know some people don't want Zach to come back. All I want is the best for DC, and whether that's Zach coming back or somebody new coming in. And sort of taking leadership of this brand and actually giving a damn about these characters, then I'll be very, very excited about the future of DC. But as of right now, James Gunn has not proven that to me in the slightest. Peter Safran has not proven to me, in the slightest. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It was a very intriguing process and idea at the start, but it has not really panned out. And we're going to talk about that right now. So, this was reported by the Hollywood Reporter. James Gunn's DC contract may be ending soon, expectedly by 2027, but possibly early as this year. I told everyone when this first started, I said, look, this is an interesting concept that we have going on here. This is an interesting idea. James Gunn made some of my favorite comic book movies in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Took those D-list characters and made them A-list, and now they're a name in almost everyone's household. But I also said this could also be a fire waiting to happen. And it's happened, and it's finally here. And I've been preaching this for the past 3 years, ever since he came on. And I have said, guys, I don't think this is the right move. I don't think this is the best move. I think DC and Warner Brothers should go in a different direction. And now we're here, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I wish it could have worked out. I really do. But I just don't know. I don't know if he'll survive the Paramount merger. I really don't. We'll see if they course correct any, but if they don't, Paramount will probably be coming in and saying bye-bye to James Gunn and Peter Safran. Which, by the way, Peter Safran, I think I talked about this earlier in the video, but he has been responsible for the past 4 bombs at DC Studios. The fact that David Zaslav looked at him and was like, yeah, no, let's hire you as the CEO of DC Studios is an absolute atrocity. It's an idiotic move, and I don't know how he thought that that would be successful for the DC brand. It's almost as if he wanted the DC brand to fail. And we'll see. Paramount will be coming in looking to be the heroes to save this brand, but we'll see what they do with it. And we'll see how long James Gunn lasts. But anyway, I have been Joshua Arce of Joshua Reviews, Movies and More. Please subscribe, leave a like on the video, comment down below your thoughts on all of this news. And I shall catch you all in the next video. Take care and peace. Like I said, reviews will be coming soon for Supergirl, Disclosure Day, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and lots more. Take care and peace.